He's
Okay,
trying to get.
that's good, it's good.
You all set?
Yep, we're good.
Okay,
We're recording.
all right, go to town, sir.
All right, we have our second half of the meeting is convened, and our next speaker of the afternoon is none other than Laura St. Louis, and the evaluator will be, or is, Bruce. And Bruce, would you do your duty, please, as evaluator?
Sure. This is Laura's presentation from the Innovative Planning Level 5, demonstrating expertise. And the project is prepared to speak professionally. So the purpose of this project is for the member to practice developing and presenting a longer speech. And, you know, it can be done in any style that Laura chooses, informational, humorous, or whatever. And it's just, again, done to prepare her for those longer speech opportunities in the future.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Laura St. Louis is in her eighth year as a Toastmaster. During that time, she has held all officer roles. She has served as area director twice, a division director twice, club growth director, and district director. I wonder what she does in her spare time. Outside of Toastmasters, Laura has a busy life with full-time work as a social, at a social justice agency. Social justice agency. Boy, that sounds almost like a court, but maybe not. Part-time at church, 2 cats that she adores, and a supportive husband that encourages her to fulfill her goals in Toastmasters and in her life. In addition, Laura has 5 grown children. You started early, huh? 5 grown children, 2 sons-in-law, 1 granddaughter. Please help me welcome past District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster, Laura St. Louis.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster. I need to share. This won't let me share.
Share screen.
Share screen.
Yeah?
Share the
Could you
screen.
co-host or Casper co-host?
Oh,
So,
once I figured out how to do it again, well, that's it.
There's a green square at the
Oh,
bottom.
there she is up there, left her, okay. Should be,
If it makes a difference, it says lectern on the screen.
Yeah, I did, should be
Log in as
okay,
Tom Neely.
Am I all set?
should be okay.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
I think you are.
okay.
No, she was,
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. It's so nice to be here. Everybody have a good day?
Yes.
Yes? Yeah?
Yes.
Awesome. The introduction mentioned I've been a club officer. Well, I've held every single officer role. Not necessarily for a full term, but I have at least held every single officer role. What I'm curious about is, in this room and in Zoom land, how many of you have been the president of your club before? Or are currently? How about vice president education? Membership? PR? Secretary? Treasurer? Sergeant at Arms? So you know what these roles are like. You know the importance of all of them. We are going to spend some time discussing club quality and how the moments of truth affect club quality, how the Distinguished Club Points program affects club quality. And then I'm also going to talk a little bit about the club officer roles, but I'm not going to get into detail because you're all going into a breakout session after. So, club quality. We start with the club mission. This is the base when it comes to club quality. So read the club mission with me. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Why is this important to building a quality club? Who can answer that for me?
If you don't know where you're going, you might wind up somewhere else.
That's very true. Anybody else?
It's gotta be fun.
Fun?
It's a
Okay.
mission of the Toastmasters.
It's a mission, that's right. How about you, James?
Well, you need to have a sense of purpose. You
Yep.
need to have goals and expectations. You need to know what you are working toward and why you are working toward it.
Yes, exactly. Next in the pyramid are the values. There are 4 Toastmaster values, core values. These include integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Why is integrity important to club quality? Cindy?
I think integrity is always important in anything.
Well, why is it important for club quality? Yes,
It
it's
makes
important
it,
for anything.
it's a good quality.
Okay, fair enough, okay. Nancy, do you want to say?
I think that is a sort of a guiding principle for
Okay.
people to behave.
Well, yeah.
Hey, I like that. Can we teach that to our children? Bruce?
It develops trust, to me, and if you're not, if you don't have integrity, you lose that trust of the members very quickly, and then it's hard to be, to get it back. Not only in Toastmasters, but in general, but for me in the club environment, that's why it's important.
All right. How about respect? Why is respect important for club quality? Peter? I'm gonna start calling on people if you don't talk, which is what I'm doing. So, Peter?
I think that we want to acknowledge everybody's worth. By acknowledging their worth, you build confidence in the individual. And with confidence, you not only build a better speaker, but you build a better individual. And especially if you can tie both respect and integrity together, I think that brings you, I would be satisfied with just those 2 elements if we achieve that in our clubs.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Margaret?
Just a quick question. With respect also, I think, because everybody is so uniquely different,
Mm-hmm.
we come from different backgrounds, we come from different, so it's good just to say, I might not be familiar with that, but I respect you for letting us know that. It gives me something to think about.
I like that. Thank you very much.
I think the respect will create a harmonious
Yeah.
environment.
Yeah.
So people come in equally treated and feel comfortable and part of a place they could belong.
I like that too. You guys are so good. Okay, what about service? James?
I will say, well, thank you for calling on me, because this is the one I was waiting for.
You were looking at me, so I'm like, okay.
Okay. No. Service, because it's not about yourself, right? We all have our own personal reasons for joining Toastmasters and what we want to get out of it. But the reason why service is a Toastmaster value is because it's not about us, especially as a club officer or a leader on the district executive committee. It's about serving others, and especially others that are not in a leadership role.
Wonderful. Thank
I
you
think
very
I
much.
can take your to the next level.
Yes.
Go for
Service is actually a way of learning. If
Yes.
you can take down to this real service, you can learn tremendously, not only in public speaking, but also leadership development and accomplishment of a president distinguished clubs, how important that is.
I think,
Well, and Toastmasters is considered a service organization, or you strive to be a servant leader when you're in Toastmasters, and that's where the service comes in for me. Bruce?
for me, service is as being one of our core values, keeps us all humble. if we really embrace that service attitude, it keeps us humble, and from humbleness to me comes doing the right things at the right time and all of that. So it ties in for me in that respect.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, what about excellence? Jordan? Why is excellence important for club quality?
I don't, so when I think of the excellence piece, there's two sides of it. There's making sure that you can run an excellent program to make sure that you can develop and grow people, because that's the point of Toastmasters, is to build better leaderships and better speakers. That's where leaders are made.
Right.
But on the flip side though, excellent isn't always a great thing, because we are here to grow and to learn. So we can't all be excellent all the time, because I can't look up to you or James or anybody else that is in a leadership role and expect to learn if I don't see some type of failure.
Oh, and we fail in Toastmasters.
Well, go ahead,
go
Tom.
ahead.
No.
Now excellence is really a big part of this for me. There aren't very many places for regular folks in ordinary life to experience real excellence or to be excellent. When I first came to Toastmasters, I was absolutely blown away by how good the Toastmasters, and they were all ordinary folks, but how excellent they were. And it has given me a chance from time to time to actually be excellent. And that's one of the best things in life. When you realize when I realized I have a chance to actually be excellent. And so I'm glad it's part of and it's a big part of our organization.
Yeah, and it's also something I always strive for, is excellence. Because if I do a really good job, maybe it will touch somebody and encourage them to take action as well. Is there anybody in Zoom land? Cynthia?
I see I got an idiot out here starting fireworks. Okay, for me, excellence
Respect it.
is a combination of integrity, respect, and service. Because that combination makes excellence. You have to be true to who you are, respect other people, humble yourself to work with them, and do the best that you can. So I look at excellence as a combination of the other three Toastmasters values.
Wonderful, I like that. So next, we have the 4 pillars. One of them is experiential learning. We have self-paced program, peer feedback, and mentoring. So experiential learning. What is experiential learning?
Practice.
Learning by doing, exactly. One of the things I love about this organization is they'll let you do anything. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. They will let you try just about anything. It doesn't matter. I was a Toastmaster for 2 years, and I was asked to do a leadership institute. I said, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'll do it. I co-chaired a conference, not knowing what I was doing. I just recently did a speechcraft, never having done one before. But they also let you take on roles. They're fine with you 6 months in becoming president of your club, because it's something that you want to do. You want to try. And that's one of the things I love about, again, that's the big thing I love about this organization, is they let you do that. It's a self-paced program. If you want to do 2 speeches a year, you can. If you want to do 2 speeches a month, you can. It all depends on your preference, your desires to get through the program as quickly or as slowly as possible. Some of you know Natalie Garcia. fact, most of you probably know, you or two probably don't. She did her DTM in 2 years. She was in 6 or 8 clubs in order to accomplish this. I was not that motivated. I wanted to get my DTM, but I was not motivated enough to do it in 2 years. And then there are people like, I'll pick on him even though he's not here, Spencer Van Rokel, who for the first few years of his membership did speeches twice a year, and that was at dues renewal. He told me this story. He admitted that dues renewals were coming up, and so he should probably do a speech. Until somebody tapped him on the shoulder and said, "You're getting your competent communicator by the end of this year." And this was like year 3, I think, when this finally happened. So again, your pace, do it the way you want. Peer feedback. You got feedback tonight on your speech. You will get feedback on your leadership abilities as a W Division Director. We can get feedback on our roles as a club officer. We get feedback on our evaluations by the general evaluator. This entire club meeting has feedback in it. So it's not, and this is how we grow. This is the best way to grow, because if you don't know what you could do better, you're never gonna learn what you can do better. And then finally, we have mentoring. And this can take place at any level. And I did a whole presentation on this for the spring conference about the myths of mentoring. James, I could mentor you in Toastmasters. I'm a little more experienced than you, but you could mentor me in something else, just because you maybe know a little bit more about it. Age has nothing to do with it. Bruce and I mentor each other all the time, although he does most of the mentoring, but we still mentor each other, even though he is by far more experienced in everything in life, especially, than I am. The base for the cap is the moments of truth. When was the last time this club did the moments of truth presentation?
I
Well,
think
if we-
Lynn has done it.
Lynn, do you remember when the last time you did the moments of truth for this? No? That it's been too long.
No, we did the moments of truth last year, beginning. Everybody filled it in.
For here?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Really? It was a year ago?
And I've got records to prove it.
Okay, we need to do it again.
Beg your pardon?
We need to do it again.
Exactly,
It
every
should be
year.
done, yep, it should be done every single year, so that we remember the reason why we do this, and the best way to go about doing it. So with the moments of truth, we have first impressions. Who's responsible for first impressions? Which of the club officers?
Sergeant
I don't
Morris.
know. I try and greet everybody.
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 All of them.
Everybody is responsible. Well, everybody, because everybody greets, right? We are all important. The Sergeant at Arms, yes, because the Sergeant at Arms pretty much sets up the room.
I would say it's whoever maintains the website.
There's that too.
And that's you.
No, I mean in general, not criticizing our website.
I know,
I'm just
I know.
saying,
No.
the first impression that somebody has is when they go to your website to see
Yes.
whether they want to come to your club meeting. And it happens even before they show up.
Right. But if they do show up, then,
Yeah,
again,
then
there's
it's,
two first, I know it sounds weird to say that, but there's two first impressions. You've got the online version, and then you have the in-person version.
Laura, could you lower the camera? Lynn can't see you.
Well, she should be able to see me from the big one.
yeah, there's this one.
There, that's
for
better.
that
Is
reason.
that better? Okay, I'm getting a double thumbs up, okay. So yes, first impressions, the most important thing. This is where you want to greet new people. This is where this is an advanced club, so it's a little different. But coming to an advanced club for the first time, you want to sit with a new person. And without being creepy about it, kind of whisper to them, this is what we're doing and why we're doing it. In a regular club, somebody walks in the door. I remember my very first meeting. I walk in, I sit down, and I'm like, why are they clapping? Why do they shake hands? This is weird. Until I realized, well, they do it because they don't want dead air, And because it's a professional organization, and we need to present ourselves as professionals. Next, we have membership orientation. Which officer is responsible for this, primarily?
VP membership?
Probably the VP membership.
That's me.
Yep, I would think anyway. So the VP membership is going to, hopefully whoever joins this club is already on pathways. But you will want to get them oriented to the club, how often we meet, when we meet, the fact that we're hybrid, get them the Zoom link, all that stuff. You'll also want to possibly assign them a mentor if it's necessary. Jordan, you may want a mentor when you finally join the club. Although you've been coming often enough that you're probably getting the hang of it by now. But you may want a mentor. You may want someone that you can talk through those first speeches that you give in the club as a new member. Okay? What was that? Oh, okay. Ron?
You're going back to first impressions.
Sure.
A couple other things that are important, like I said, website, first walk in the door, people greet them, and someone should have sat down with you even on the first time, explain, hey, we do clap, we do this and do that, and even before you sit down. But importantly, we start on time. We have
Yes.
we have agendas. We follow the agendas.
Yep.
Because people look at that, well, they just started half an hour later, 10 minutes late, and there's no agenda, nothing's going on. That's a big part of your first impression. Why am I here?
Yes. Yes.
So everything we do in a meeting is important with the first impression, not just smiling and shaking a hand.
You're absolutely right. Yes, you're absolutely right. Thank you for bringing that up. Then we have fellowship, variety, and communication. Who's responsible for this? Please say everyone.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary.
Everybody. We all have to communicate with one another, and not just the officers, although that's extremely important, but we have to communicate with the club. They need to know what's going on as well. The officers get together, and then we need to communicate that to the club. If there's gonna be a change for some reason in the schedule, we need to communicate with that with the club. We also need to get it on the website. We also want some variety in our meetings. Tonight was did not go quite as expected originally as we had planned, but you know what, we're Toastmasters, we go with the flow. And I do believe there's some really good fellowship in this room. We've all kind of gotten to know each other a little bit, and Mary, of course, who's been a long time Toastmaster, knows everybody in this room. And in the Zoom realm. So there are no strangers here. So we can fellowship very, very easily with one another. Next, program planning and meeting organization. Who does this fall on?
Club president.
And
Education VP.
me, as the vice president of education. I'm primarily responsible for the program planning and of course the organizations of the meeting. However, that doesn't mean you don't have, you can input if you'd like. I'm willing to take suggestions, anything that you would want to add. Membership strength. Who's responsible? What was that?
VP of membership, but actually the whole club.
That's right. Everybody is responsible for bringing in new members. Not just your VP membership. Everybody is responsible for this. And then finally, achievement recognition. Who's responsible for this?
President.
VP of Education.
Primarily VPE, the president. I mentioned on Saturday that at Lunch Bunch, the president actually did the formal announcement of educational achievements, but at C Division, it's the VP Education. So we'll have to, as an executive committee, decide what way we want to do this. And then finally, we have the club. We have 4 areas for the Distinguished Club Program that are education, membership, training, and then of course there's the administrative stuff. For the Pathways Learning, you have the option of up to 6 points. 6 points. 4 members complete a level 1, 2 complete a level 2, 2 more complete a level 2, 2 complete a level 3, and then you get 1 member with a 4-5 DTM, and then another member with a 4-5 or DTM. It's doable. One thing I will say I have noticed, with the advanced clubs, we tend to fill up the 3s, 4s, and 5s a lot faster than we fill up the 1s and 2s. Don't know why that is, but that was one thing I noticed with a couple of the other clubs I'm in. Those filled up really fast, and then we struggled filling in the 1s and 2s. Then when it comes to membership, this is twofold. Membership, in order to get the points, you have to have 4 members and then at least 4 more members. To achieve distinguished, you still have to have a minimum of 20 members or a net growth of 5. So there's 2 aspects, well technically 3, when it comes to membership. Training, a minimum of 4 club officers have to be trained during each of the 2 training periods. We have 2 more coming up yet this summer. There's one at the end of July that James is hosting, and then there's one in August. The one at the end of July is a Saturday and a Sunday, and the one in August is 2 consecutive Thursdays, one of which happens to be during convention. And then the administration, of course, is the one-time payment of membership dues with at least of 8 members, at least 3 of which have to be returning. You can have up to 5 brand new. And then there's a 1 period and 1-time submission of 1 club officer list. So I'm really hoping we got our officer list in on time.
Wait, did we? I was just writing down.
Yeah, did we get our officer list in on
Did
time?
anybody do it? I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. Did you do it?
I
You
think
did
I
it.
did, yeah,
Well,
because I think.
Well, you did it
like-
last time, and I just didn't even.
You did it like May.
I'm sure I did, yeah.
Okay.
I will double check it, but I'm sure I entered
I
it.
was listed as the club president,
Okay, so that,
like in June.
okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay,
think that- I
good.
think she did it in May, just to make sure.
For
it
the
got done.
training, yeah, for the
Yeah.
training, yeah.
Yep, okay, perfect. So then we have teamwork. Teamwork means the officers work together. Yes, we all have our quote-unquote assigned duties. That doesn't mean we can't jump in, fill in, help each other out. I have been in clubs where, you know, the leadership handbook explains everything, and I've read parts of the leadership handbook. And there were things I was doing that the president was supposed to do, or the secretary, and because that's what the book said. But it didn't work for our club. So while it says this is something you're supposed to do, the way I look at it is it's a guide. Never, I won't. Okay, so Toastmasters looks at this as the Gestalt approach to teamwork, where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Know your role. Find the leadership handbook online, read through it, focus in on the specific officer role you have. But then know the roles of the other officers, not word for word. You don't have to memorize the entire handbook. But if you have a general idea of what everybody else does, then you can pinch hit. Is it pinch hit? Pinch
Pinch. Pinch.
What?
Pinch hit,
With an
okay.
N in it.
Pinch.
Pinch hit, yeah. It's a baseball thing.
Oh, I don't watch baseball.
Nor do I. But know what they are. Communicate your areas of strength. So where are you strong? Where do you need some growth? Maybe you want to take over part of a role where you really need to build up that particular skill. There's nothing wrong with that as long as whomever is in that role is willing to mentor you in it or just kind of let you run with it. Take a proactive approach. If you see something isn't getting done, step in and do it. You can ask for forgiveness later. Especially if it has to be done right away. All right, and then finally, be willing to cover for another officer, like I said, pinch hitting. If James all of a sudden wasn't available tonight, guess who became your president for the evening? That's why we have kind of the hierarchy within the officers. This is your executive committee, including, although it's not on here, your immediate past president, who should also be included in this. For some reason it's not. The president, who is Mr. James Lemke, he sets the tone for the club. So he's gonna be the firecracker, the sparkler, whatever you wanna call him. That's gonna be his job. He's gonna provide helpful, supportive leadership. He's gonna guide the executive committee and the club towards goals and hopefully reaching distinguished status. He also serves as a base camp manager. The vice president of education, which is me, I'm gonna encourage members to complete their communication and leadership goals. And if I can actually get my act together, I'm gonna reach out to everybody and find out what your goals are for this year. Regardless of whether you're going to assign them to this club or to another club, I wanna know what your goals are for this year. And I also serve as a base camp manager. We have our vice president membership, the lovely Nancy. She promotes the club and manages the process of bringing in guests and then transforming them into members. Are you just a member of this club, or are you still at 404?
Just this club right
Just
now.
this club, okay.
So I'm dedicated.
Okay, me too. But she will initiate contact with guests, make them feel welcome, and of course, provide information about joining the club. The PR, VPPR, promotes the club through community activities that increase membership, publishes meeting times and locations, maintains social media sites, and in my case, I also maintain the website, even though I'm not the PR. Secretary, who's our secretary? Margaret, oh,
Yay, Margaret.
secretary extraordinaire.
Yeah.
You are designated to manage accurate files and of course club records. You keep everything and then you pass it along to the next person in line. You take minutes at all the meetings, you record member and guest attendance, and you also serve as a base camp manager.
I can do that.
And then the treasurer, Mr. Neely, is the club's accountant. He keeps the financial records and maintains the bank account for the club, writes checks, collects and pays dues, and works with the executive committee to create a budget. And then finally, the sergeant at arms, also Mr. Neely, who is primarily in charge for setting the mood for that evening's meeting, because he sets up the room, he tears down the room, with help of course, but it's his primary responsibility. He just gets other people to help him. And there are, of course, executive committee duties, creating a club budget, developing a success plan, the club success plan. This is typically done as a group, all the officers together. Strategize for getting at least distinguished this coming year, and then of course create and oversee any other club committees that you feel are necessary. Any questions? Comments?
Well, yeah, are you gonna, you've been great this past year. I've worked with you on certain things more than any of these other guys. You've done more than anybody even knows with the website and with collecting dues and et cetera, et cetera. Will you still be able to work on that and?
The website?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm planning on
And
doing-
other administrative aspects and kind of pass along some of your experience and stuff like that, please.
If anybody needs it, I'm here.
Okay, and I want a couple of apprentices. The treasury job is really interesting and important, but it's pretty